Well, first of all, I'd like to say good evening to everyone. I hope everybody has had a wonderful day, that your day has turned out the way that you expected for it to be. And if it hasn't, that's okay too, because you decided to come here tonight for me to be able to share with you what's going on in the city of Irondale. If you came to the town hall meeting, you will see that a lot of the slides is pretty much the same that we talked about, but I've added some additional things, and I hope that you really enjoy the presentation. My job is to be able to share facts with you tonight, not fiction, but facts. And I'm going to allow you to be able to decide, to be able to make your decision from that. I'm not here to manipulate you. I'm not here to sell you anything. And if you read my blog from earlier today, I'm not here to instill fear. I just want to be able to share the facts. And I hope when you leave today that you will share the facts as well. However, I did say at the bottom of the blog, I do notice somebody is going to run out of here before the night is over. And they will put the wrong information out. We expect that. But you can't say that you received it from here. You can say that you received it because that's what you wanted to do when you left this place. I'm going to open this up in a word of prayer, and then I'm going to proceed with the presentation. We have a few ground rules. First of all, if you want to speak, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. I'm also going to ask that everyone is respectful of everyone that speak, even if you do not agree with them. Furthermore, I am not going to allow one person to dominate the entire conversation. You will be able to ask your question, but you will not be able to ask 3 and 4 questions at one time, because that doesn't give everybody else the opportunity to be able to speak their truth. And we want to be able to hear from everybody, not just one person. Therefore, I would like to ask, are we all in agreement with those instructions? And if you can't follow those instructions, there is a police department across the street. And I have no problem at all calling them to ask that any unruly individual could be removed, because it's not about anybody tonight. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the city of Irondale. And we want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to be able to participate in the process. We're all in agreement with the ground rules. And even if you wasn't in agreement with the ground rules, those are the ground rules. But I'm going to open this up in prayer. I try to, I may have some dry humor, so please don't take anything personal. I just want to make sure that I make this interesting and exciting to you, and that, as I stated, that you walk away with the correct information. You don't have to agree with it. Nobody agrees with everything. Kim and I have been married for 34 years, and we don't always see things. I can hear a few husbands saying amen, Mayor Stewart. I can agree with that. And I know some of you all that's sitting there with your wife, you want to say it, but you got to go home tonight. See, I don't have to go home with you all. But okay, let's go ahead. If you will bow your heads, I'll open this up in a word of prayer and we'll proceed with the presentation. Oh, gracious God, we thank you for allowing us to come into this room tonight. There are different places that we could have been, but you allowed us to be able to come and to be able to hear what's going on in our city. We have a great city with a great group of people, and I'm so thankful for the department heads that we have and how they do their work and to be able to lead the city. I ask that you empower me tonight to be able to remove myself out of the conversation, but to be able to share and to be able to give what people need to hear. I pray that their eyes are open, that their ears are attentive, and that they will hear from you, not from me. I'm merely just an instrument in the hand of the potter, and I ask you to use me as you see fit. So, Lord, we're going to move forward. We only got an hour and a half. Allow us to be good stewards of the time that you've given to us. And I ask all of these things in your Son's name. Amen. Okay. The theme in the city of Irondale for FY24 is built around 3 F's. And that doesn't mean failure, but we're going to do finances well. We're going to build a lot of facilities. And in the midst of all of that, we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to highlight 7 of the big stories in the city of Irondale. And I would say that number 1 was the opening of Publix. The city of Irondale was a food desert for over 16 years. On November the 1st, we had a chance to be able to open the first grocery store in the city within that time frame. I can truly say that Publix has turned into a community meeting spot. There's not a day that I don't go there, and I shouldn't be going there every day, but it's on the way home, and I can always think of something that I want to eat, something that I want to drink. What is it, Cal? I'm getting those things that are messing with that A1C that I shouldn't be stopping by there to have all the time. But the store is doing well. Additional shops are now coming on board with the AT&T, the nail stories. I've seen a lot of people give some wonderful comments about nail stories. I really haven't gotten to that point in my life where I'm getting ready to get a manicure or a pedicure. However, I did try to encourage Greg and Jared to get one when it opened, but they turned me down. So we're glad that the Publix is open. They're doing very well, and they are providing a very nice financial boost to the city of Irondale. Number 2 is the roundabout. People are still talking about the roundabout this morning. They asked me if I was going to put out something to help people to be able to drive in the roundabout. And I said no, because the people in Irondale are pretty smart that they do not need an instructional course about how to go around in a circle. And if we do need that, we're in bad shape. I haven't seen any accident reports from what's going on in the middle of the circle, but I do know that we are planning to put something in the middle of the circle that's going to be very nice, and it will be something that everybody in this room would be proud of. Last year, we did over $2 million in paving projects. The year before that, we did $2.5 million in paving projects. Since I've been in office, we've been able to do over $5 million in paving projects. We have completed the pavement management plan that was created when I was the city clerk. We were supposed to finish that plan in 12 years. We were able to do that in 2 years. And I would like to thank Frank Pennington sitting on the front row. By the way, if you all want to criticize somebody tonight, you can criticize Frank and Greg. If you want to give somebody the glory, I'm here to receive it. But Frank is responsible for these numbers, and I'm very glad that he's here at the City of Irondale. And when I get to the end of the presentation, I will share with you what we plan on doing in FY24. The Luxury Auto Mall ad campaign. The Auto Mall produces over $8 million to the city. It provides most of the sales and use, or half of the sales and use tax that comes into the city. It comes from the Auto Mall. We decided to have a campaign that we will run an annual ad to promote the Auto Mall to be able to increase the revenue. We spent over $500,000 on the ad. We are projecting that it's going to increase the sales and use taxes for the Auto Mall to 1.5. If you want to be able to do the math, you take 1.5, you subtract $500,000 from it, and it should create an additional $1 million for the city as we move into FY24. When we did the ad, they asked me to get into one of the cars. And they said, Mayor, we want you to look like you own one of those cars. I told them, I said, do y'all know what my salary is? I said, I can't even pay for the maintenance on the car, but I really enjoyed being a part of the first line of commercials that have gone out so far. Well, I do want to ask the question, how many people in the room have seen the commercials? Well, that's great, because I sat down with Strong Automotive. They were the ones who performed the ads, and they said that we're doing extremely well with getting the word out, because there are a lot of people that think that the Auto Mall is in Birmingham. And I've had people to tell me, I didn't really know that that was in Irondale until you all start running the ads. So the ad campaign has been great. It will run for another 6 months. I'm doing an analysis right now to see what the revenue was in 23, and we'll see how that compares to 24 to tell a difference, or to be able to see if it's making a difference in revenue that is coming into the city of Irondale. Well, this story was, we finally decided to create a brand for the city. And the reason that we created the brand, because one day I was in the public works area, and as I was walking through the yard, I realized that on every truck we had a different brand. We had a train on one, we had words on one, we had IB on one. And I'm saying, how can you really market your city consistently if you do not have a brand that you can stand on? We hired a company. We spent about 3 months with them. They took the vision of the city, and they were able to develop a logo that now that you would see on a lot of things in the city. And this logo represents 5 different characteristics that we identified that was a part of the city. You can see the red clay in the roundabout. If you ever ride through the roundabout and you see the red clay, that red clay was put there because it represents a part of Irondale. The blue is for the Cahaba River. The green represents Ruffner Mountain. The warm industrial has to do with our railroad history. I'm not a believer in that you get rid of the past. My job is to help everybody to remember the past, but we also need to move to the future. So these 5 colors represents the city of Irondale. And the last one, it goes to our young generation. A municipality can't continue to be a municipality if it's not attracting young people. I mean, at the end of the day, all of us going to leave this earth at some point in time. Hopefully my time hasn't come, but we want to make sure that we continue to interject new life, new people into the city so that the city can grow, that we can be vibrant, that we can be able to sustain ourselves. But, anything that is not growing is dead. That's why the theme for this year is called Grow Irondale, because we want to let people know that we are alive, we're vibrant, and we're a place where if you're looking for a cool place to live, we are that place. The park master plan will be coming up for a vote the first week of June. Whatever that first council meeting is in June, we will adopt the park master plan. And we have a plan for every park that we have in the city of Irondale. And we're going to begin to implement that plan. We've done some of the things already with Ruffner and with the dog park, but 2 parks of focus in 24 is going to be Beacon Park and Heritage Place. Heritage Place is the land that we own across from JCA. And the reason that we purchased that property because it was in danger of being purchased by someone that I don't think you all really would want them to be the owner of a piece of property across from school. Is anybody, and you all probably won't raise your hand because you don't want people to know that you know about this place, but how many of you all know about the furnace? Well, the owner of the furnace wanted to purchase the land across the street from the school. And the city stepped in to be able to buy the property to protect the interests of the city, to be able to give some protection to the school. But we also wanted to be able to create a park on that side of Irondale because we don't have any parks on that side. So we did it for 3 different reasons. Interstate lights, we will have on the upcoming agenda a resolution to spend over $500,000 to be able to complete the interstate lights project. They've already gone out there to do the wiring, but once they began to do the wiring, we realized that there were 61 poles, Frank, that was down. It was hard for me to believe that, I guess we've had 61 accidents where people have run into one of those poles and knocked it down and has lived to be able to tell the story about it. But there were 61 poles that were down. AlDOT initially put in $633,000 to provide the wiring for the project. So it's been wired, but we're waiting for the poles. We had to pay $500,000 to be able to purchase the poles. But in return for doing that, AlDOT is going to give us a grant of $700,000 to be able to pave Grants Mill Road. Did I say Grants Mill Road? Okay. So let's talk about the city finances. Currently, we have $12 million in reserve. Our general fund projected revenue for the upcoming years, $36.6 million. And we're looking for a surplus of about $4.2 million. As I look at these numbers, I wouldn't say that the city was broke. I would say that we're in pretty good shape if that's what we are projecting for 24. I would also say that in the history of the city of Irondale, we've never, ever generated revenue in the amount of $36.6 million. By the way, can I get y'all to say that with me? I just saw two pastors walk in, and that's how they do it from the pulpit. But I'm going to let y'all off the hook, and I'm not going to make Pastor McClure and John get up and do a quote or anything. But this is what we're projecting for the upcoming fiscal year for the city of Irondale. Also, the city of Irondale, there was an article in the newspaper, and it talked about how home values was appreciating throughout Jefferson County. Do you all know which community had the highest appreciation in home values in Jefferson County? Well, let me ask it to you this way. Do you remember paying your property tax this year? And it was much higher than it was the year before? Well, the reason that it was that way is because the city of Irondale is the number one city in Jefferson County with the highest appreciation rate for property throughout the county. Real estate values in the city of Irondale over the last 5 years have appreciated by 60%. I know you all may not like it, but I sure do love when them checks roll in starting in October from you all paying your property tax. And you also, I wanted you all to know, well, you already know now, but the additional millage kicked in this time when you paid your taxes. So you had an increase of about 6 mills. In 2022, citizens of Irondale voted by 75% to be able to increase the property tax. When we got ready to embark on this journey, people told me that I was crazy. Number one, I was crazy because people don't vote to increase property tax. Number two, it was during COVID. I even got a letter that said, Mayor, you got to be crazy. We think you've lost your mind. Do we need to check you in the Hillcrest? But you to actually think that you're going to get the citizens in Irondale to be able to approve a property tax increase? After all, you just had one in 2018 that failed. So what makes you think that you're going to be able to get one through this time? And the reason that I believe that we will be able to get it through this time is because we serve a mighty big God that's in control of everything. He's sovereign. And the only thing you got to do is do what he tells you to do. And the rest of it will take care of itself. Property tax is probably the most stable income that we have coming into the city. It's very consistent because guess what? If you don't pay it, what happens? Then you end up on that list for the state with a tax lien. Or if you have a mortgage, they may just turn around and put you out. But we enjoy having property tax coming into the city of Irondale. Groundbreakings. We've had 3 groundbreakings within 6 months. The first one was for Tales by the Rails at Ellert Park. And I would say that the dog park is coming along. It looks great so far from what I've seen. If you had an opportunity, I'll ask you to just ride out there. They currently have laid the concrete for the sidewalks, and they've also erected the columns that are going to hold the sign. It looks like it's going to be completed within 4 months. I'm quite sure you dog lovers will be happy to have your own park. After all, you all did criticize us when we started to build the park because we didn't tell you that they were getting ready to get started because we moved the one from Ruffner. Well, sometimes for progress, there's some pain that goes along with it. And this will be the result of your patience. Number 2 is Ruffner Park. We had a groundbreaking out there last Wednesday. They've totally demolished the facility. The cost is $8.6 million. They are projected to be through by October of 24. And I'm looking forward to throwing out the first pitch in April of 2025. I'm going to throw the first pitch out on the big field. John London going to throw out the next pitch on the little field. And then I think we have Councilman Sims in here, and he'll throw it out on the third field. But everybody will get a chance to participate. And on Thursday, we threw some dirt for the Irondale Public Library. The library was built in 1973. That's over 51 years since the city has had a brand new library. We're really looking forward to starting that project. It's going to be constructed by our very own Stuart Perry. We have a very, I guess you can say, on this project, there's a lot of community that was involved with it. Charles Williams, who is the architect, lived in the city of Irondale. Stuart Perry, whose company is on Overton Road, is getting ready to construct it. That's a good way to be able to use people in your community that know exactly what they're doing. And we're looking forward to that. It was funny. Merrill called me the other day, and he said, Mayor, we're going to be through in 14 months. Do you have a problem with that? I said, I don't have a problem with it. Just make sure that it's up in plenty of time to be able to kick off everything that's getting ready to take place in 2025. So what are some of the other facilities that we have, or what we're going to do in the city of Irondale? Number 1, why are we reconstructing an Irondale Municipal Complex? How many of you all participated in Blueprint Irondale? Well, if you participated in Blueprint Irondale, this is what you asked for. And that's why I kind of trip off people from time to time, and they want to know, well, Mayor, why are you doing this, or why are you all doing that? I'm only doing what you all asked me to do. Everything that you've seen, everything that I've showed you was things that you asked for in Blueprint Irondale, which means either you lied or you told the truth when you filled out your survey, because what is it called? Blueprint Irondale. And what do you do with a blueprint? You build things. And that's exactly what we're doing here in the city. Build community, build the future. That's our tagline. Well, I'm sorry, I got them mixed up. The Irondale Municipal Complex is going to be on Crestwood Boulevard. We own the old Marks Fitzgerald building, the Regions Bank, and the building behind that. We have the architect in the room. We also have the engineer in the room. So if you all are upset with the complex, attack Chip Gardner and Joe Meads before you leave. Because they're the ones that are working on the project, and I love them to death. I just love to make fun of them and Like I told you, praise come to me, complaints go to everybody else. So we're getting ready to build the municipal complex. I think Chip said we should be ready. Chip, I'm not gonna lie for you. Just so will you tell everybody when we're gonna be? End of June. We'll be ready to go out for bid and to be able to do that. The Irondale Civic Center, we're renovating the Civic Center. It's gonna have some things in it that everybody's asked for. I've heard people asking for a splash pad. It's gonna have a splash pad. I've heard people asking for a new playground equipment for the kids. It's gonna have new playground equipment. Everybody want to play pickleball now. So it's gonna have 6 pickleball courts. It's gonna have a walking trail, a mountain bike trail, and I just learned today that it's going to have a brand new amphitheater that is going to be there, which means that we no longer have to do events in Beacon Park. We're going to allow Beacon Park to be a park, and we're going to use where the Civic Center is going to be the new entertainment mecca for the city of Irondale. So all of our entertainment will take place at the new Irondale Civic Center. We got space, we got parking, we got amenities, we got a brand new building. It costs $17 million. Why not use it if we got to pay that much to be able to build that new building? We're going to build a brand new fire station and a training facility. I have a picture of the current fire station after this slide. Matter of fact, I have 3 pictures of current buildings that we have in the city. And when you see these pictures, if you think that we're wrong for progressing to want to be able to put our employees in a nice facility, please let Frank know. Because we get in a new fire station, Frank's getting a new public works building, and we're also moving the water department as well. Okay, this side. Okay, this is fire station number 3. This is your water building. I feel like Vanna White. And this is your public works building. As you can see, these buildings do not represent the success of the city of Irondale. That's why we are trying to replace them, because, I mean, this gray building right here, it kind of reminds me of Bryce. You all familiar with, is it Bryce in Tuscaloosa? It's not a prison. It's a mental facility. But it reminds me, that gray paint, every time I see all of this gray, I think I'm about to lose my mind. Here go, everybody's talking about Irondale water system. Do you all think in 2024 we should be housing our employees in a building that look like that? The only thing you got to do is go across the tracks, make a right, go down half a mile, make a left, and that's where our guys that works on this system, this is where they reside every day. And then fire station number 3, we inherited that fire station. One thing about building a new fire station, it will benefit everybody in this room. And why do you all think that it would benefit you? Saves lives, but I'm going to go with Cal's answer. Insurance. How many people in this room have insurance on your house? Do you know that your insurance rates are determined based on the ISO rating of your municipality? And the lower your rating, the cheaper your insurance. I believe right now we have an ISO rating of 3, and we're trying to get that down to a 1. Okay, what everybody has been waiting for. If I hear this question one more time, I think I'm going to pull my hair out. And as you all can see, I don't have anything up there to pull out. But, Mayor Stewart, how is the city of Irondale going to pay for all of these projects? By the way, you broke, you bankrupt, you're going to turn the city into another municipality just like Fairfield. Tell me, what's your plan? And the reason that I've held on for so long is because, are you all familiar with the book of Nehemiah? Do you all remember when Nehemiah was trying to build the wall? And as he was building the wall, he had 3 critics: Sanballat, Geshem, and Tobiah. And their whole job was to distract him from building the wall. Well, the staff know when I came and met with them in January, the main thing I told them was this: I'm not getting off the wall. No matter what people say, no matter what people do, I'm not getting off the wall, because what? Critics will be critics, haters will be haters, and distractors will be distractors. And no matter what you say to them, they always are going to be the same way. But that's okay. It's not for them to understand what's going on. It's for me to understand what they're trying to do. Make sure you all take this home with you tonight. And if you want me to email you a copy, I'll do that too. But this is how we're going to do it. $60 million. The Public Building Authority is going to borrow the money and build the facilities. The city, in return, is going to lease the buildings, and the lease payments are going to be equivalent to the bond payments. Do I have any questions? Okay, you ain't in church, Pastor Lund. Okay. We're going to pay the lease, and because we are paying the lease, it is going to allow us to build the facilities. And here are the facilities that we are planning to build: Dog Park Baseball Complex, library, renovate Civic Center, relocate Public Works, replace old water facility, a new city hall, and a new fire station. So that's the beginning of the process. The bond money comes from New York. We will be going to New York, or myself and a team of the municipal bond advisor, bond counsel, city attorney, treasurer. We'll be going to New York within about a month to be able to make a presentation before the S&P. And one of the things about the S&P is not going to give you money if your credit and you don't have the money to be able to pay for it. You have to have a tight financial ship to be able to do that. And I'm really looking forward to that trip to be able to go and to seal the deal to be able to get those funds. Well, how are we going to pay for it? I take you back to the property tax increase. What did we say that we were going to do when we increased your property tax? Well, it was actually 5, but anybody else want to take a stab? What was that, Ms. Cheney? Okay. What was that, Don? Okay, we said that we were going to do capital projects. What are these projects? Okay. So,
What is the, or who is the Public Building Authority? I've never personally heard of it, and so is this a committee? Are these people that are in New York?
no, these will be people from the city of Irondale. The authority is made up of 3 individuals. It was established before I became the mayor. Matter of fact, it was established somewhere around the 1990s. It consists of 3 people. The process that we're going to use here at the city, I've asked each counselor to select one person that they would like to be considered to be a part of the board, and then the council will vote and choose at least 3 people to sit in those 3 seats.
These 3 people?
No, the Public Building Authority is going to be the one that borrows the money, but it's going to consist of the 3 people that the council selected to sit on the authority. I'm getting to that right there. Thank you for the great lead in. As I just said a few minutes ago, and Ms. Pike answered the question. The reason that you all improved the property tax because you said you wanted things you can see, feel, touch, and that you could use. All of those meets that criteria. I just asked you about, did you enjoy having to pay the extra millage on your property tax? And everybody said, yeah, we remember having to pay those extra funds. Well, those extra funds generate over $2 million. No, I said we're going to borrow 60 million, but the lease payments the first year is going to be 2.7. And this is how we're going to pay for that 2.7. We have $2 million coming in additionally from the ad valorem tax. So I need you all to help me do the math. If you got 2.7 million and you subtract 2 million from that, what you got left over? Well, what about 700,000? I wish it was 0.7, but we'll go with 700,000. Okay. Now, what did I say about doing the additional advertisement about the auto mall? Okay, not everybody talk at the same time. Well, y'all mumbling, y'all really ain't talking. But Miss Roscoe, so how much did that leave over, Miss Roscoe? No. If it generates 1.5 and we spend 500,000, how much is left? 1 million. Now the actual lease payments for the first year is 2.7. But if I take $2 million in ad valorem tax, because we said that we were going to use that money on capital projects, and if we take the additional $1 million that is generated from the auto mall, then you have a surplus of $300,000. That's how you pay for $60 million to do 8 projects with lease payments of $2.7 million, and you still got $300,000 left over. Any questions? Okay.
three citizens who are going to borrow this money? What is the relationship between them and the city of Iredell? Obviously, the city of Iredell has to back what they're doing.
Public Buildings Authority is created by the state of Alabama. It's in the code of 1975. That's the way municipalities use that code to be able to build new facilities. Now, these three individuals are separate from the city. It's just like the CDA. They are a separate board. They're not under the authority of the city. However, the city is securing or underwriting what is borrowed, but the money is being used to build these 8 facilities. They answer to themselves. It's just like the CDA, they answer to themselves. Once the council submit the 5 names, and then they determine who those 3 people are that they want to sit on the authority. Each counselor has their own criteria about who they want to choose and who they would like to serve on the board. The people are not responsible for anything. So it's not like if you sit on that board, you are responsible for that money, but there's protections that are built into the code that they are not held liable for what happened to the funds, because they're just going to be the funds are going to come in. Like, I'll tell you right now we have $17 million that's been spent with the dog park, with the library, and with the baseball fields. So when those monies come in, those money's going to be in an escrow account, and they're going to sit over there. So when those contractors submit their invoices, those funds are going to be used to pay those invoices.
So am I incorrect to think or to say that municipal buildings do not generate revenue? Like, if those are our buildings, and you said we own those buildings, do we own those buildings? Because you said a few minutes ago, we own the buildings for the municipal complex.
Yes, we'll be paying lease payments on the buildings. City will
We
own.
don't own them.
We will own the building. It's just like when you buy a car. You have a note. You pay that note. You still own the car.
But what I'm asking is, are they going to generate revenue?
We know. I'm gonna let you answer it. Why are you asking if we build a building if it's gonna generate any income?
Well, I'm asking you because I don't know.
Well,
I'm not an
you just said it. You just said the buildings don't generate income. So I'm saying, where are you leading to with that question?
Oh, well, when you said, that would, the buildings pay the lease.
No, what I said was the additional ad valorem tax that we have coming in, which the citizens approved in 2022, will be used to pay the lease for the city that owned the buildings. Let me see. I'm gonna move on. Let me see. 6:49. Okay, I'm gonna take everybody that has their hand up right now, and I'm gonna start with Colin, and I'm gonna work my way from side to side. Okay.
$60 million, 5% interest, $3 million. I mean, it's like 2.7 for the first year. It sounds like it's going up every year. It's barely covering the interest. So the ad valorem tax going for the next 5 years, pardon me for saying 7, but for the next 5 years. So are we saying we anticipate the ad valorem tax having to extend in order to pay for this?
Well, the reason that we put the 5 years in, because we wanted to give people an out that if we was not doing what we said that we were going to do, then it would expire and then you wouldn't have to vote for it. But I hope that if you see the work that we're doing and we're doing exactly what we said that we were doing, that it would be renewed in 5 years to continue the process. Now, the way that you did the math is not quite the way that you calculate bonds. And the way that you calculate bonds, these bonds are for 30 years. And you can stagger them any way you want to stagger them. In the bond market, they call it wrapping. And I'm not going to get into the details of it, but I'm going to give you the most simplified form of it, is that you can determine how you want to purchase bonds with a certain maturity when they come due to be able to determine what your payments are. That's how we can borrow $60 million, have lease payments at 2.7, use $3 million that is coming in, and still have $300,000 left over. In 10 years. 10 years. All right. Cal? 30 years. Yes, it'll be 30 years. Yeah. And let me tell you the reason that we're doing 30 years. The projects that we're doing is not only benefiting the people that is in this room, but people that move into this neighborhood 20 years from now will be taking advantage of these projects as well. Why should they not bear some of the costs just like everybody else is in this room? Because these are generational projects, which means that these buildings have at a minimum a lifespan of 30 years. That's why we are crafting everything to make sure that everybody pays their fair share. I got you, Cal. Ms. Cheney, then Councilman. I'm sorry, but you related. Okay.
When you build that kind of library, you have different programs there, and people least pay. I have different programs there. The city's gonna get that kind of revenue. So we need to not think just the building itself, but buildings do with revenue, because people come to use those buildings, for different reasons. So
Right.
those buildings are going to produce some revenue. Maybe not enough, but
Right. Okay. Well, there's a theory. The theory is community development becomes before economic development. You can't have economic development if you got a neighborhood that look like crap. And we trying to figure out why people don't want to come relocate, or why people don't want. These companies is not getting ready to invest millions and millions of dollars in a neighborhood that look like it's been, it's old. It's old. It's an old community. Therefore, you have to build community. And as you build community, economic development would follow. But I can tell you right now, if we leave everything the way that it is right now, yes, you may have a lot of money in the bank. What good is it to have a lot of money in the bank and your city looks like, I'll let you all fill in the blank. All right, Councilman Box.
Everything on that board will quote unquote generate income in some way. Our civic center is already generating income. The dog park, dog shows, different parties, birthday parties, all that kind of thing generates income. The ball field, one of the biggest things right now is travel ball and soccer ball, having tournaments that generates income. And if you think about it just a little bit, where does our income come to but City Hall? So City Hall is quote unquote an income generator of sorts. our citizen income process.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Box. We have anybody else want to ask a question before I move on? Because I want to make sure I get you out at 7:30. No, you've asked a lot, so we're gonna move on. I'll give you an opportunity when I go to Q&A. But if there's not another individual that wants to ask a question, I'm gonna move on with the presentation. Okay. There are three things that I told you all that we were gonna do in 24. We're going to build our finances. We're going to make sure that we have some very nice facilities, but we're going to have a lot of fun. On May 2nd, we're going to have the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast, going to be at Church of the Highlands. We have Nick Saban that's going to be there. If you want to come, I hate to share it with you, but it's sold out. But that is going to be a wonderful event. We have if you're not doing anything on May the 11th, come out and watch me beat Councilman London in the free throw contest at the celebrity basketball tournament, since he beat up on me last year. The 9th? Okay, it's the 9th. And the farmer's market opens on the 11th. So if you enjoy fresh vegetables, it's also a great time to come if you want to meet other people that live in the city. It's going to open on the 11th. And then we're also, because this is Mental Health Month, we are having a seminar at the Civic Center. We're having one for the employees, and we're having, I can't remember which portion is which. Do you remember, Emma? Okay. All right. So we know that mental health is a big thing going on in our community, and we wanted to be able to address that. One of the things that I'm really looking forward to, August the 17th, I can't see, this is July the 27th, we're having Country Fest. So we're having a country music festival in Beacon Park, so that should really be a treat. And then we're going to finish up the year with the Arts and Crafts Bazaar. And we're going to have that at the Civic Center. It's going to last for 2 days. I hope you all come out and participate. And then also we're going to have a Christmas parade and tree lighting on December the 6th. And that's going to help us to be able to close out 2024.
Movie nights, I Love Irondale Day, and Yo Amo Irondale Festivals. Jazz in the Park.
That's good. Instead of her telling me each line, you just tell everybody since you're doing all that. But hey, I can't remember who wrote this song, but at the end of the day, it's truly a family affair. Family that works together, stays together. And I can't do what I do if it wasn't for these three people on the front row. Even though I want to kill them half of the time, but I appreciate them a whole lot. Okay, that's the farmer's market, opening up on Saturday, May the 11th. Hope everybody come out, spend some money at that. On June the 19th, this is the second business roundtable that we're going to have here in the city. It came out of some of the business people in the community talking about they didn't know what was going on in the city. Their business is here, but they didn't know what was going on. Therefore, out of hearing them say what they need to help them and to help their business to prosper, we're going to have a quarterly roundtable where I invite them into the city and we talk about everything that's going on in the city. And also I share with them how I can help them, or how the city can help them in their business, because when their business is profitable, the city reaps those benefits. And that's the celebrity basketball game. Come out and see Team Stewart beat Councilman London on Thursday, May 9th. He got the little trophy last year. I got the big trophy, but oh, okay. All right. So if you all not doing anything, the proceeds go to help the FBLA at Shades Valley. So we're just doing it as a fundraiser to be able to help the kids. And then it takes me about 2 weeks for everything to get back in place. Calf muscles, hamstrings, quads, all of that stuff is thrown out. So what are we going to do in FY24? We want to make sure that we pave about $1.9 million in roads. This year we're focusing on Holiday Gardens, and we're going to complete doing our work here downtown. We're going to do some renovations at Beacon Park. I had a conversation with Leanne today, and we were talking about the way that everything is set up there currently is dysfunctional with the pavilion, the way that it cuts off the other half of the park. We're looking at possibility, Frank, of building a new pavilion up there. But we also received $60,000 for Jefferson County to be able to put in a new track. We're going to put in a new track. We're going to pave the roads. We're going to put in new playground equipment and the possibility of building a brand new pavilion at Beacon Park. New construction at Heritage Park. That's the park that, the way that you all need to remember this park is just say the furnace. And when y'all say the furnace, y'all remember that park. But we are looking at doing some work or beginning the process of building a park in Heritage Park. I just shared with Joe that we need his company to go up there and to do a survey so we'll know exactly the lay of the land. And then once we can get the survey, we can determine what things can go there. Also, we're going to do a Grow Irondale marketing campaign. I would like to do something for the city the same way that we did it with the car dealerships. I would like for us to have an entire campaign. The campaign would focus on promoting the city of Irondale, promoting the businesses, promoting the individuals, the activities that we have going on in the city. Like I said, it'll be similar to what we're doing with the car campaign. I was at home doing some homework about a few weeks ago, and every time I clicked on something, a YouTube video came up showing the Irondale luxury auto mall. So it is really working. The word is getting out, and I have people to stop me all the time to say, hey, we didn't know that was in Irondale, but those 14 dealerships are in the city of Irondale. Also, we are looking at reducing the occupational license fee by 0.25. At the state of the city, I said that in July, and I want you all to remember what I just said. I said in July that we would adopt an ordinance to reduce the fee by 0.25 or 1/4 percentage point. And we would officially enact it in October of 25. And the reason that we are doing that is because it takes time for the businesses to get their computer systems in link or to get them synced with the new rate. I did want to ask you all one question because this is very mind-boggling to me, this whole deal about the occupational license fee. I'm going to give you all a scenario, and I want you to answer how you would deal with this scenario. You can put it on your level. You can put it on the question that I'm getting ready to ask, but I really need you to give me an answer so I can understand it. Because I asked another group this very thing that was complaining about the occupational license fee. But once I asked them this question, they got a better perspective of what we were talking about at the city. So here's the question. If you ran a business and I showed up at your business one day and I told you, as of today, give me $1 million, would you give it to me? How many people, if I showed up to your business today, or say I didn't even show up to your business, what about if I just showed up to your house and said, hey, give me $10,000 today? How many of y'all would do that? Nobody would do that, right? But yet, you all would come down to the city, argue with us about the fee. We're going to give back $1 million to the business community. But yet, I asked you the same question and you say you wouldn't do it. So if you won't do it, please tell me why we are supposed to do it. See, it becomes real when you have to answer that in real money. So we're talking about having $1 million to go out of the city's budget to be able to reduce this fee by 1/4 of a percentage point. Can I get an amen? All right. So we're going to do that in FY25, and something that everybody would love to see, no new taxes in FY24 or 25. Now, this is the catch. Your garbage fee is not a tax. Your garbage bill is not a tax. Which means I don't want you all to run out of here and say, well, Mayor Stewart said they weren't going to increase anything. No, what Mayor Stewart said, we're not going to increase your taxes. I didn't say we weren't going to increase fees. We will increase fees as we need to increase fees, because you don't run your home at a deficit. Why do you expect for us to do the same thing at the city? So that's my story. So what is the future of Irondale? We have 4 phases. First phase is we want to complete these 8 generational projects. The second phase is to, we have entertainment district on there, but it's really to create a gathering space. And the reason that we're going to create a gathering spot, because once we move out of all of these buildings will be empty. And we don't want to leave these buildings empty, because we know, according to the broken window theory, that if you leave buildings empty for a long time and people start putting graffiti and broken windows on it, then you begin to have another element that shows up in your community. We don't want to do that. We're going to build these 8 projects. We're going to now turn this entire area into a new place, a gathering spot where you have commercial, residential, mixed use, restaurants. I mean, everything that you can think about will be in this area. Then once we complete that, we're going to move on to the Cahaba River development. And this is the land that we own up Highway 78. We own 103 acres sitting on the Cahaba River. We're currently working on a master plan to find out what's the highest and best use for that piece of property. Then we're going to finish everything up with the hospital and the civic center development. We own 103 acres where the civic center is currently located. And for the hospital property, we own 160 acres. We have 265 acres to redevelop. Those 265 acres is going to be redeveloped into what I call a new city within inside of the city. If you all are looking to move to a new community with all of the amenities will be in that community. You'll have recreation, commercial, residential. I mean, everything that you can think about that we have in the entire city, the goal is to be able to put that on those 265 acres. All right. Q&A is 7:09, and we got 21 minutes of Q&A. I'm going to go to the back. Aaron Sims. Yes. Frank went up to Beacon Park with them. Was it 2 weeks ago, Frank? 2 weeks ago. We've already identified the spot. It's going to take them, did he say about a month, Frank, for them to do everything? So in a month, or we'll just say give us, in government time. Give us 3 months instead of a month. But we will receive a brand new storm shelter that will house 80 individuals, and we are receiving it free from Jefferson County, and the cost of it is $400,000. Right.
I have great concern. From the best I can see, the construction company that is, working on the, ballpark has destroyed the sidewalk. The best I can see, it is gone. That Aldott paid for that, the citizens of Iredell paid for that, and Sane and I almost had a nervous breakdown getting it to go through. So I want it put back down. When they get through, I don't know why they took it up. It was not in the way, it's way over there. A child can skate on it, ride their bicycle on it, and from the best I can see, it's gone. And I think Mylan and Company or whoever needs to put it back down.
Well, thank you, but I want to ask you the question, because it would be a liability to the city. Do you think we really want that sidewalk to be there with all of that construction going on for kids to be riding bikes and skating?
No, it's closed. I'm not saying it.
It's supposed to be closed.
And they demolished it. And when, excuse me, I didn't make myself heard.
Okay.
When they get through with building the park, I would like to see it replaced.
It's in the plans. It's going to be a brand new sidewalk.
Well,
It's in the plans.
I'm just telling you.
I know. I've seen the plans.
Everybody's, I don't know about that. You know, it's just like now, they're already gone. So I want
Yeah.
you to know that sidewalk's gone.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Let me there, and I'll come back over there. Okay. The first phase will take anywhere between 18 to 24 months to get those 8 generational projects and get all that done. That'll be the first phase. Second phase will then come on. It'll take anywhere from 24 to 36 months to redevelop this entire area down here. For the Cahaba, we're working on that right now. So that can happen at any time. There's a bunch of money that's at the state, and we are developing a plan to be able to take advantage of all the grants that are available. KI created this new park concept, and if you use a lot of things that they have deemed to be good to put into your community, they will also provide you with the money to be able to do it. And then we're talking about developing those, 260 acres. We're probably about 5 to 7 years out before we began to do that process. Okay, let me get, he was next, and then Jenny, I'll get you. We're,
Those days, I wouldn't want to live in it. It's come so far, somewhere. That's why we live in it. We live in a place, I think, the gentleman back there can back me, I think our neighborhood is 255 houses? Yeah, okay. 255 houses, and there's a lot of younger people there. That's good for, when you mentioned about younger people. So, and, they got disposable income. Most of them, people in the family working, they need a rest.
well, I want to say we're working on restaurants. We were trying to get one on the corner there at Publix, but they informed me about a couple of weeks ago that the traffic count is not high enough for us to be able to attract the restaurants. And also having a conversation with Price Hightower, he has said the same thing because he's trying to recruit restaurants to come on his area. But we're not going to give up. We're still going to keep working on it. I believe that the best place for us to be able to attract restaurants and to have the volume of cars to be able to support it would be on Crestwood Boulevard. But we got some work to do there before we can start inviting people to do that. Hopefully when we build the new municipal complex, that will begin to spur development and to get other entities to come along to see that if the city's going to make this type of investment, then I can bring my business there to do the same thing.
State, we lost 3 last year. I don't think it'll be we still lost.
Well, the only thing that I would say that from the city perspective, we had nothing to do with it. Crystals left because they could not negotiate a new lease with the owner. Jack's left because they wanted to have a bigger footprint, and the tire store next to it wouldn't sell their property to be able to combine both of those together. McDonald's closed because of the lack of workers to be in the store, because they made you go to the drive-through more than they allowed you to come in the store because they didn't have anybody working. That's the history behind why those 3 restaurants closed. Okay. So, Mr. Reese, somebody over here had their hand up first that I wanted to go to. Then, oh, Jenny, you were.
Who is developing that Cahaba River plan?
Leanne McNally. Currently, yes, we're just kind of doing some exploring right now about what are some of the things to do. Yes, yes. Yeah, it'll be just like how we did with Blueprint Irondale. We'll have focus groups. We'll have online surveys for people to fill out. We'll have to make sure that everybody has a say in what goes on there. Okay. Mr. Reese or John, I'll get you. Oh, I didn't get invited. Okay.
Waited on us, and she said, I'm from Crossville, and I don't like coming over here because I do not make as much money. And we said, and she said,
Okay. I just addressed that to say that we're going to reduce it by a 1/4 percentage point beginning in FY25. Oh, oh yeah, she's a good salesperson. Yeah. Let me share this with let me share this with you all. I think I have more contact with people that want to come into the city of Irondale and do things. I really do. I mean, just because of we're not a big city, we don't have a person that specializes in economic development. And when anybody wants to come into the city of Irondale, the first place they contact is the mayor's office. After they contact me, the next thing they want to do is come in and sit down and have a meeting. I can tell you, since I've been the mayor for 3 years and 6 months, I never had a business to tell me we will not relocate in your community because you have an occupational license fee. I've heard people say, well, they're going to go to Birmingham. Birmingham higher than ours. So that myth that got started that, oh, people don't relocate because they don't want to pay the occupational license fee, that's a myth. Because even when I was the city clerk, I never had anybody say, well, I'm not coming to your all city because y'all got an occupational license fee. And unless you all are doing negotiation with these businesses, please let me know the ones that you've talked to, because I haven't talked to anybody that has complained about an occupational license fee, business fee, any of the things that I've heard people complain about. I just haven't heard it.
Here in Washington, pay off.
I pay it now. Mr. Risa, city employees are not city employees are not exempt from paying the occupational license fee. all 180 of the employees that are hired here at the city, we all pay an occupational license fee. So we don't get a break. And before that, I worked at the U.S. Postal Service in Birmingham. I paid occupational license fee there for 12 years. Yeah. So, anybody else? Oh, John, I'm sorry. And Colin, I'll come back after.
We own or releasing that.
We own it. That's all the land that's tied to the hospital. The city owns all 160 acres. Okay, Colin.
I'm surprised in a good way. The new Civic Center, I heard some numbers about how many different events we had out there. But I can't find anything on our website. Is there a separate website for the Civic Center to see what's going on in case we might want to go?
No. Usually what we do, we give you Brad Doss' phone number. He's the one that's up there that books everything, takes care of everything up there. But I would say, I mean, to be totally honest with you, when we bought the Civic Center, the only thing I had in my mind, we're gonna tear it down. I just thought that we were gonna tear it down. And Brad came to me and said, "Well, Mayor, let me do this." And then he did a little bit of this. Then he did a little bit of that. Then the next thing I know, he's rented it out for Kiera's. And now they doing MMA up there. And baby showers. And roller derby. Yeah, so they've had about, I know last year when I mentioned it, it was about 50 events that was scheduled. And right now it's booked. We had Kids Market was there for a whole month. Uh, okay. Well, to be honest with you all, I don't know, but I'll get the answer. Okay, I'll get the answer. I'll just be honest with you. I really don't know, but I'll get the answer.
He had to look solid until next October.
Yes. So we're now trying to figure out how we're going to do renovations and then keep it booked at the same time. But that's a good problem to have. Oh no, I like that kind of gossip. You can spread, yeah, you can spread that one all you want to. Anybody else got anything else? Still got 8 minutes. You can have all 8.
That's from the city. We have any plan, there's nothing in the city that's very plan. We have numerous people, buses that come visit EWP. And I was told several years ago that you would be surprised at the money that is generated from the business that the people come in and do. They need to play see, play stay. Okay, but when they eat and stay, they did not know the history of the people on here. So we got Jack Dale, Jack Kimball. Nobody knows that. So then we have, Jimmy Black, like I say, and then we have,
James Stewart. Well, let me say this. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll say this, Miss Teresa. I tried to get in contact with Fannie Flagg to come last year to be the marshal at the Christmas parade. So I did try to reach out to her to no avail. But I would say you did mention something that we really need to do here at the city. And you know what? I think you would be an excellent candidate. That's why you'll be an excellent candidate. I'll give you a call, and I'll have Marcy to call. I have Marcy to call you. No, it's free. It's free. It's volunteer. But I have Marcy to call you, and we'll set up an appointment and see how we can get you to work on our history project. Yeah. Well, we can't do anything on. Yeah, we can't do anything on EWTN's property. That have to be their deal. Okay. 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 All right. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else got any other comment before I give our closing shot? Well, I would like to say I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Hopefully, you've been able to learn some things about what's going on in the city, and that you now understand that there is a method behind the madness. I know you've heard a lot of things that we buy land and we don't know what to do with it, and but hopefully tonight you heard that we don't just buy land and don't have anything to do with it. There's always a time to be able to tell something. The book of Ecclesiastes talk about there's a time to die, there's a time to live. There's a time for everything. And sometimes you can tell a vision too early to give people the amount of time to be able to kill it. I will always share with you all what we're getting ready to do. I may not share it when you want me to, but eventually I will do it by hosting this town hall meeting to be able to let you know what's going on. Thank you for coming tonight, for enduring me for an hour and a half with my stale jokes. But hey, all 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 things work together for the good of those who love him and those are called into his purpose. I want you all to do me one favor though. When you all start hearing people within 2 weeks talking about why they moving all that dirt on Grants Mill Road, tell them that's where the new Irondale Library is going. Thank you for coming out. Hope you have a safe drive home. And